everybody, and so today's live is all about a dirty little secret that maybe you don't even want to come out and talk about today. It's imposter syndrome. So for me, I think it's something that I will admit that I've probably had all the way through childhood, actually, and it's probably something that I didn't realise that I had, and now that now it's got a kind of a title, hasn't it? It's got a title for it, but it's certainly something that I didn't actually have a name for, and certainly didn't know that there was actually something that you can do about it. So I've now learnt some really excellent coaching techniques for actually dealing with them. So I thought I would actually come on here and actually tell you all about them today. So first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about my background and kind of how this has come up for me. So first of all, my majority of my career was about in the HR field, and I worked my way up all the way through to HR director. So I worked at a senior level in the corporate world. Now, I've got my degree in HR, I've got the qualifications, and I obviously reached quite a senior level too. And about 8 years ago, I delved into the world of NLP, so neuro-linguistic programming, and it absolutely changed my life. So I've done the NLP practitioner program, the master practitioner program, and I also became a trainer of NLP. So I actually run training programs too. So before I kind of start delving in, hi Jane, hi Lauren, thanks for watching. So before I actually delve into this, now first of all, just pop in the comments who's actually heard of imposter syndrome. Just pop a yes or a no in the comments if you've actually heard of it. So some people may know about it, some people don't. So let's just have a look, for me, in the corporate world, what I tended to do. So I tended to, or how did imposter syndrome sort of show up for me? So I tended to overwork, be a bit of a people pleaser, constantly feeling that I shouldn't be where I was, that I wasn't qualified enough to do it, that perhaps my peers were better than me and they deserved to be there more. What the heck was I even doing there? I'm surely going to be found out soon. I'm going to be caught out and people will see me for what I really am, and that's not what I was. It wasn't really the person that I was. And at board level, I had to present. I would, weeks before I'd have to present, I would get that feeling in the pit of my stomach. Hi Brooke, great to have you here. Hi Carol, great to have you here. So yeah, if I was having to present, firstly, I would, start to get those feelings in the pit of my stomach, probably weeks before I'd even have to present. Just even thinking about it, I would get those feelings in the pit of my stomach. And I would immediately start putting the pressure on myself at that point. That for me, the only way that I could actually get through that presentation was to prepare, and prepare a bit more. So I would, read loads of books, do loads of research, almost redo my training over and over again, just so that I didn't feel like a fraud, that I knew all of the information, that if anybody asked me anything, I would be able to reel it off, because I couldn't show that I didn't know the answer. For me, that was quite an issue. And I can actually recall writing tons and tons of notes and actually then going into the presentation and not even having the chance to actually look at them, which then almost made me feel even worse. And then I'd be thinking, well, if they do ask me something now and I can't get back to my notes, and I'd actually be caught out. And so actually afterwards, even though people would maybe say, that was absolutely great, I'd pay more attention to the ones that perhaps didn't say something. And for the ones that did say something, I would actually probably think, oh, they're only saying that to actually be nice. They're just saying it to be nice to me. And the ones that, you know, didn't say anything, oh, they've probably not learnt anything, and they probably think that I've wasted their time. So even when I got compliments, I would tend to ignore those and really concentrate on the negatives, or the ones that they didn't say anything. So, you know, you'd actually have that sort of feeling that, you know, almost a sense of relief of getting through the presentation, and that I haven't actually been caught out that time. So when I actually then sort of became a coach, and, you know, I was still afraid then to actually even be visible, you know, to be known for what I did, to be out there and to be considered the expert. You know, I actually again got those feelings of, you know, that's feelings in the pit of your stomach again. You know, who would even want to see me as a coach? You know, what the heck would I know? So even though I had the evidence to the contrary, so even though I'd coached people, I'd trained people, and I'd got the feedback that I'd actually transformed their lives, I still didn't sort of feel that. If anybody's actually, you know, if that actually resonates with anybody, please just pop a note in the comment below, just so we can get, you know, just so you all know as well that it's something that they actually estimate that affects 70% of people, that 70% of people will actually suffer with imposter syndrome at some point in their lives. Now, whilst it's predominantly women, there are also many men that actually have admitted that they also have suffered with some, you know, imposter syndrome. So Tom Hanks, for instance, is somebody that it has been known to sort of talk about it. And basically, it's anybody. Hi, Natalie, great to have you here. You know, basically, what is imposter syndrome? If anybody wants to pop in the comments at the moment, you know, what do they think imposter syndrome? Yes, indeed, it does, Brooke. It does bring back those memories. So yeah, what does imposter syndrome? What does it mean to you? What do you sort of, does anybody have it? Does anybody can relate to that? What are the kind of things that make you think that you actually have got imposter syndrome? If you want to pop anything down in the comments there. It's usually, you know, for imposter syndrome, it's usually, you know, those people that actually externally look like they've got lots of success. You know, so they've got the awards, they've got the qualifications, they've got the accolades, everything on the outside that says that they're successful. And then, you know, what they've got on the inside doesn't actually match up with their exterior, with what's actually going on the outside. So they might have that feeling of being a fraud, of being an imposter, and they would generally have high expectations on themselves. Who am I to be stood in front of people coaching them? Absolutely. You know, so you probably actually put quite a you know, high expectation on yourself as well, Brooke. That, you know, you're perhaps very self-critical. You know, that everything's got to be absolutely perfect. That you know, that you're also very self-aware of that as well, and you're almost you know, you're almost aware of the fact that you are, you know, criticising yourself, and so you're also worried about criticising others too, not realising that you're actually your biggest critic, and it often leaves us living in this kind of state of being you know, anxious, or having that fear, or anxiety, stress, and actually not taking on the focus then, is not taking on any compliments, that we don't actually take on board those. We don't take on praise, and we actually put an awful lot of pressure on ourselves to actually achieve something by doing that. So the interesting thing with all of this is that even the people that we actually think, those ones there that we wouldn't actually think have got imposter syndrome, have imposter syndrome. So we almost look up to people and put them on the pedestal. They've probably got it too. There's so many there that have got imposter syndrome, and the ironic thing is that those that suffer with it are actually successful people. That's the irony of it. So, pop your hands up. Hi, Tracy. Great to see you. Hi, Alistair. Great to see you here. Just pop a comment in there if, you think you suffer with it. If you think you actually suffer with, hi, Carol. If you suffer with imposter syndrome. And actually, it's those successful people, maybe they're, in business or entrepreneurs, generally are people as well that actually suffers with this. And there are so many actors and public figures too. So we've got Emma Watson, Kate Winslet, Meryl Streep, Sheryl Sandberg and Jodie Foster. All of them are kind of those public figures that have openly come out to say that they also have imposter syndrome. And the nature of the way that this syndrome is means that external success that we get, it actually heightens rather than soothes the effect of it. So, because actually the person that's got imposter syndrome would then actually just feel that they're ramping up their little trick that they are playing on everybody by doing that, rather than seeing it for what it is, that they actually are successful. And in fact, Emma Watson actually, she actually said that the more that she accomplishes, the feelings of that inadequacy actually increase. So because of this perfectionism, we're also afraid to show some vulnerability. We're afraid to admit that we might be nervous about doing something. And we can actually then deflect from our success and put it down to, that, it was good luck. Or, the timing was right for me then. Or, it's because I worked really hard. Or I was in the right place at the right time. Or it's my connections. That was that's the best one. It wasn't anything that I did. For me, it was, it's because I had great connections. Or it's some other external factor that we have that's doing that. So, and it's actually worse now, isn't it, on social media or with social media, because we're almost obsessively comparing ourselves now, and comparing ourselves to those people that we perceive have got the perfect life. So does this relate to anybody? Is anything that I'm saying here, does this relate to anybody? Does it resonate with you? Because actually the first step to doing anything about it is having that awareness, which is really, really important. Once you can accept it, and then you can realise, then you can actually do something about it. So where does this actually come from? Where does imposter syndrome actually come from? Growing up, we're actually influenced by our parents, teachers, our friends, TV, etc. And we make a decision about who we are at quite an early age. So as a child, you may have downplayed your achievements, so you didn't stand out. You may have got more attention or more love when you're doing very well at something. And so having that recognition when you've done well, you wanted to do more, because you've almost linked that love and attention with doing well. Now this may have protected us as children, but carrying it through into adulthood actually harms us. One of the earliest memories that I can actually hear, is the phrase that it's not what you know, it's who you know. So yeah, that's something that's, has anybody got any phrases that they can sort of remember from childhood that you would actually say, that, yeah, God, I can remember actually that phrase. So what we need to think about now is, what is this actually costing us? Because some people can just live with it, just say that they've got the difficulties, that, yeah, I feel like a fraud, but there's just nothing I can do about it. Other people, like you, may be getting to the point now that you'd like to do something about it. And to move past something, you have to actually think, what is this actually costing me? What am I losing out from by still playing into this? For me personally, I had, the stress and anxiety from over preparing, from, actually knowing that actually the stress causes problems within our bodies. We can get health problems. I used to get migraines and the constant colds. And the other thing is that actually by doing this, life's just too short, isn't it? Life's just too short to be doing something that is actually just not good for us. And actually, when we're worried about, that we're an imposter or a fraud, we actually keep ourselves small. We actually don't pursue those opportunities out there when we do that. And lots of people actually give up, or they keep themselves small as they just think that they can't do it. So if you are someone that has imposter syndrome and it's stopping you from doing something, just think about that right now. Yeah, great. Catch up on the replay, Kelly. That'll be great. Lovely to see you. So if you are someone that has imposter syndrome, just think about now, what is it stopping you from doing? What is it costing you? Because actually, having imposter syndrome can be detrimental to us if we don't channel it in the right way. And for me, having balance is key. In NLP, we say that, everything we do and what others do has a positive intention. So at some point, this will have served us. It will have had a positive intention for us. Now, if you think about it, if allowing yourself, to not shine, or that allowing you to have so much stress, what could be the positive intention of that? Because it's actually about getting balance. Having a feeling of doubt when trying something new is perfectly normal. Again, just remind you about, how your beliefs are actually formed. And maybe, like I said, you might have picked one that you downplayed yourself when you were younger so that you didn't stand out. So it served a purpose for you at some point. So I just want you to notice the feelings and sensations that happen to you when you are thinking that you're potentially, you're a fraud, or you've got a presentation, and what comes up for you. If it's, what are the automatic thoughts that actually come up? So if your stomach flips, what's the script that you're actually running for yourself? Is it, well, I'm useless and people will know, people are going to find out and discover that? What could you be doing it for? Sometimes it's that, it could be that we don't want to get too big for our boots. And actually there's a positive intention for that, and also anxiety is actually a sign that we care. So as a coach, for instance, it's because I care about the people that I coach. And actually what we want to do is almost, we want to reframe that and actually change the way that we think about it. Because excitement can actually be the sort of the flip side of anxiety. It also means that what we do is we prepare. We sometimes we can become overconfident, and then we don't prepare, and then we don't do our best work. So this is what the other intention it can be for us. It now enables us to prepare. It's also a sign that we are growing, because if we're not growing, we're actually dying. So having a healthy a healthy feeling of fear, or self-doubt, or anything else that comes up, rather than resisting it, thinking that we're on the wrong path, is actually good for us. It also means, it keeps us striving. It keeps us wanting to be that high achieving person, that successful person. Am I doing my best? Am I really living my true potential? What we just want to do is make sure that we're doing it in the healthiest and resourceful way possible. So, the first thing is having that awareness. So just acknowledging now that maybe that you do have imposter syndrome, that actually imposter syndrome is a thing, and it's then therefore something that we can do something about. Instead of thinking that you've just got to suffer in silence and there's nothing you can do about it. So that's number one. Come from a position of curiosity. So I'm feeling like this, so what can I do different? Just reframe it. So with anxiety, for instance, it's got that feeling of speed, hasn't it? It's quick. You've got that, the butterfly sensation, and actually excitement can just be the same. So it's very similar. So you can flip it. So just notice, I'm feeling like this. Maybe I'm feeling anxious. How else can I think about this? Maybe if I think about it being an excited feeling instead, that you can actually make the change. And, who am I actually making the change to? Next one is be prepared for it by knowing that you've got it. So actually, if you've got a presentation coming up, just acknowledge the feelings that you're actually probably going to go through if you've got something coming up for you. And then have the courage to be imperfect. Be proud of everything that you've done. There's no failure, only feedback is one of the sort of sayings that we take on in NLP. That, everything that we do, we can learn from. So have the courage, if you can, to be imperfect, to just go and do something. And trust in yourself, because we've got all of this information in. We should trust our unconscious mind. When we're acting or thinking consciously, that's our rational mind. This is where everything's done. But actually all of our information that we've ever been exposed to takes place at the unconscious level. So tap into that and trust in it. Trust it that it's there. Take time to think about what this is costing you. What's this costing you in your life? What are you self-sabotaging? Because when we actually step out of our comfort zone, there's that little voice in your head, isn't there, that's just trying to pull you down. It's trying to keep us safe. And it pulls us down by, maybe telling us that we're not good enough, or we should do this, or we should do that. So again, just have a think about, what could this be stopping me doing? What opportunities am I not letting myself being exposed to by actually thinking these thoughts? And the next one is be driven to actually do something about this. Allow yourself to dream and push through that comfort zone. You reaching your true potential means that you can impact so many people with your greatness. So say you can do something. Say you're going to be determined to do something. We're successful people after all. We can do this. And the next one is to stop comparing yourself to that particular person. You are not here to live the life of someone else. You're here to live your life. And remember, they've got their own shit happening. Next one is to make a list of all the things that you have achieved. Keep a success journal. I love a success journal. Instead of focusing on the things that are negative or we haven't done, let's write down what we have done. All the compliments that we get, all of our successes, just write them down in a success journal and just keep referring yourself to that. It's great actually to just realise that actually you are doing some great work out there. So this is just one of the things that I actually help women with my signature program that I'll launch in January actually achieve. It's for high achieving, successful women just like you that want to blast through their limitations, achieve rapid growth and step into their true potential and live the life that you actually dream about, and be who you want to, you are actually dream about being. So if you can actually relate to anything that I've said today, and you want to make 2020 your best year to actually achieve your best life, where you're free of this imposter syndrome, that comparisonitis, or that feelings of self-doubt or lacking self-confidence, then I'm actually opening my diary to 5 ladies over the next week for a free 30-minute session, totally complimentary session, where we will get super clear on where you are right now and where you want to get to. We'll identify where your limitations actually are and what these blocks are that you're encountering that's actually stopping you living the life that you want. And then you will come away with a plan, of how I can help you and how I can support you, and where you're going to be pushed to make a decision to invest in you. Do you really want to step out of your comfort zone and make 2020 your year? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you're interested in taking one of those 5 slots, I'm only releasing 5 slots, just drop me a direct message after this, this live or the replay later, and just let me know that you're interested, and then I'll come back to you. Hope you found this useful for you today. Drop me any comments and let me know. I'd love to hear how you're getting on with it. I'd love to hear how you get on with some of those hints and tips. And see you again next week. Bye for now.